across Devon and Cornwall.
Also on the programme, Days of Silence, how loneliness can affect people like Tony from Torbay.
A lonely person doesn't ask for big presents, big favours, simple phone call or a little visit.
Plus we meet Digby the dog, working with Devon and Somerset Fire and Rescue.
Now, when was the last time you called someone who you know lives alone and may well feel lonely? Perhaps you are someone who feels alone.
Well, this week is Loneliness Awareness Week, highlighting the need to reach out to people and remove any stigma and shame around loneliness. Our reporter Claire Manning went to meet one man who lives in Torbay, who says sometimes he can go for nearly a week without speaking to someone.
I spent maybe 2 hours with Tony. I found him brilliant company. He's a good listener, tells a great story, and he's funny. My day felt better for meeting Tony. But you know, this man, who is, I should say, as vivacious and colourful as this magnificent shirt he's wearing, tells me most of the time no one calls him or visits. He is, he admits, incredibly lonely.
It's something that people do not understand. A lonely person doesn't ask for big presents, big favours, simple phone call or a little visit. You haven't got a partner, so nobody wants to know you really.
That's really sad to hear, Tony. How many days can you go sometimes without speaking to somebody?
About 5. Yeah, usually about 5.
During this pandemic, loneliness has affected many of us, but for Tony, it's something he's struggled with for 14 years since his partner Vince died.
I met Vince 60 years ago now, and of course in those days it was illegal. We could have gone to prison. However, we finally moved in together and he took me under his wings. So the person I am today, I owe to Vince. He taught me all the culture things in life. I mean, when I met him and he was going on about the opera and ballets, and I thought, what, you having a laugh here? Not me. You know, no way.
A boy from the Black Country
Yeah,
going to the ballet.
We're never going to make it, you know.
But they did make it. And Tony tells me they had a wonderful life together. You might recognise Vince. At one time, he was mayor of Torbay.
14 years, yes, I miss him as much today as the day he died.
He was the love of your life.
Yes, he really was, yes.
And as is the case for many couples when one dies, Tony says losing Vince meant Tony also lost his confidence.
Do you know, I've sat here almost crying, thinking, I've got a lovely home, I keep myself clean, I keep my flat clean, I live a clean life. Why doesn't anybody want to come and see me?
More than 26% of people who live in Torbay are aged 65 or over. That compares to a national average of around 18%. And while age and bereavement aren't the only reasons people find themselves lonely, older people are at an increased risk of loneliness. Tracy's job for Torbay Ageing Well puts people like Tony who feel isolated in touch with charities that can help.
When you've been in a couple and you're no longer in a couple, sometimes it feels like you haven't got a purpose. But actually, if you can get back out into society, make those connections, then all of that can grow again for that individual.
Tony says support from Age UK has saved him, and he's now slowly building back his confidence. Anybody watching this who knows someone who is lonely, what advice do you give them? What should they be doing?
Take 2 minutes, phone them up or knock their door and just step back and say, hello, are you all right? I'm thinking of you. Just tell people you are thinking of them.
Doesn't sound a lot, does it, when you put it like that? Claire Manning, ITV News, Paignton.
Tony, thank you very much for sharing your story there, and glad to see that you are easing that loneliness as well. Thanks very much for sharing. Moving on to other news this evening, many of